Summoners, welcome on back. Heading into game number 2 between the curses. We have the team kill, unfortunately, coming down here in the lower bracket. And Curse EU, they're looking pretty good right now. They're definitely the favorites.
I mean, yeah, they got the 57% over 43, and Curse
Yeah.
they do have the home field advantage, but still, I mean, they got the potential. That game, maybe that's just their throwaway. Going to give up game 1, give Curse EU a false sense of confidence because they looked so good that game.
They did. They really did. And we saw what happened. Curse, they tried to go back to their old ways, play the passive game, and then the one fight happened, and this 3K swing, and everything just snowballed from there.
Just one fight, 3K to get the dragon.
Yeah.
All right, or Curse EU, they're in a good spot, and it just kept happening. Like, nothing would happen for a while, maybe a good pickup for Curse NA, and Curse EU would just go for the big fight with all their AoE ultimates, and you get hit by an Amumu ult, you get hit by an Orianna ultimate. I mean, hell, Copter got hit just by Orianna Dissonance and Command Attack.
Yeah.
And got obliterated at the end of the game. So
we were looking at some comments earlier. It was like, we had no idea Orianna's orb had a disintegrate function. I don't think anyone... Yeah, I don't know how that slipped through
ashes to ashes,
QA.
cop dust to dust.
So and remember, if you too want to submit to us your own votes to see if you can swing the percentages, remember we have our iOS app up, available on the store. You get your votes on in. If you get some pretty good predictions, if you're top of the leaderboards, you could actually be winning your own Origin PC from the event.
Those things are legit.
They are. They really are.
Curse EU, what's the strike going to be? I don't think they really have to change anything up. If
Yeah,
they get that cop
fine.
again, that's a bunch of broken AoE ultimates stacked on top of each other. You win a game. Curse NA, they gotta play things up. Their comp could have worked. They had to use Zyra more for counter initiation. Maybe Boy, if he had the farm, had the dive potential. But they never had a good team fight, really. It was just a couple pickoffs every now and then, and then the one just annihilation from Curse EU, and they never had a chance to shine.
Yeah, and even then, when NA didn't have Zyra there on the front line, there was no ranged CC. There was no way to dissuade EU from charging on in. It's like, we know it's like a 3v4, but you have nothing to stop us. You can't stop us. We're going to take your tower, and you can't do jack about it.
Even when Jackie was in the backline safely getting his spells off towards the end of the game, it just didn't matter. The burst was so high, and it obliterated NA. That's really, they just had too many big numbers being thrown at Curse NA. And they could definitely come back. They just can't play passive, or if they do play passive, they got to ward up, play super defensively, which we saw a small amount of wards coming out, but not that many. And Curse EU, they had the ward. St. Vicious lost his oracles early. They could not control the map because of that.
Yeah, but fortunately enough, though, we've been seeing Maluna with a lot of earlier-oriented oracles throughout this entire weekend, and that's always a good thing, because cheers for ward kills are always a good thing. Always good something to get you woken up. And also, a nice little reminder for anyone watching at home, on stream number 2, we actually have a TPA and SGS going at it during game number 1, and we took a quick look at it before we came back from commercial, and
I don't want to spoil the team fight, but let's just say SGS is looking really good right now.
Yeah, they are. It's, from what I understand, is what happens. This is what happens when you ban Jarvan against SGS. They play standard and they do awesome.
They're a really good team, but sometimes I think they get caught up trying to play the crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Every now and then, Karma Orgot may not work out.
Yeah, like I remember, face off. We saw some Mundo top. I think earlier on in the weekend we saw some Kazakhs top. Urgot coming on back.
Kazakhs is legit.
Kazakhs is legit. Urgot not as much, unfortunately.
Yeah, the Urgot, maybe not that relevant.
But yeah, if you want to catch in some of that action, be sure to head on over to stream number 2. We got everyone here in this game, though, ready to go. I think we're about ready to get this thing launched.
Yeah, all the Curse boys are in the room just waiting for the go-ahead. Someone has to hit that play button. Boy, it's on you. Looking at you right now.
We're both looking at you. We're both giving you the stare, waiting for the start.
But I mean, start the game call going out. NA, what is your response? What are you going to do? Now you're first pick. Now you can try and get that OP champion before anybody else. Maybe snag up that Orianna first that we saw coming out from Curse EU game 1. And champion picks and bans have started. Vayne going out right away. Just not wanting that late game presence.
Yeah, the last thing you want right now is to have a hyper carry diving straight at you. Olaf also being banned. And there's the Amumu ban coming in from NA. That was a very big part of EU strat last night. Just the ultimate is too big. There's too much CC. At the very least, minimize the stacks. There's the Elise ban coming in from EU once again. Do not want Void Boy on that.
His Elise is scary. That's just how it goes. They may have not practiced against it that much. It's definitely a North American thing to run Elise top. At least I've seen a lot more coming out from the NA teams. Also, I believe Gosu Zuna from Fear does it quite a bit himself, but you know, if you don't know it, just ban it out.
Exactly.
Why deal
yeah.
with it? Why learn it? Orianna coming out as a ban from Curse against Curse EU. So what are they going to pick on NA? They have the chance to go for the OP.
Yeah, but what is the Amumu was already banned. Do you think the Orianna was worth also at the same time?
EU has to get Diana.
Okay.
If they don't ban Diana, NA is going to snag that up.
Yeah, so there is the Diana, but also we also want to remind everyone, Jax is also open, and I think this may be the first time Angish may have him.
It's been banned out. One game he got to play Jax. They won that game.
Oh, one game. Okay.
And Angish, he is a beastly Jax. One of the best Jaxes from the European scene, if not possibly the best.
Yeah. Lee Sin
he's got his competition, but
Lee Sin's also open here, and I think those are the only two that have managed to escape this round, and both of them. Well, that's the thing. Lee Sin is definitely a warranted first pick in some situations, but actually going to be going for the Nunu, but Jax is open, and I think EU may just take him right here.
Now's their chance. I mean, maybe Curse NA, maybe they got that plan. At the same time, Nunu, they had the Nunu Caitlyn. Didn't really work out for them. They couldn't get the push going on.
They did. That's the thing. When you have a push-oriented lane like that, you're expecting to grab that first Tier 1 tower within the first 5 minutes, and they did jack squat to that thing.
The Sona Ezreal lane was out pushing them. Like, they had to swap because they were going to lose that tower first.
It was so weird.
It's not like Amumu pushed it back. Amumu was ganking bottom. St. Vicious was defending that lane at the same time, so it just came down. They could not outpush the Sona Ezreal lane.
So we also could see some huge jungle picks coming in here too. As Cho'Gath is actually still open, Malphite also open. There's a lot of options. There's a lot of champs that Maluna is actually really good with that they can pick up here for an equal amount of AOE/CC. We haven't seen Elser, but there's the Jax.
Who wants a piece of the champ? And here comes a Blitzcrank on Patoy, one of his favorite champions. Love to see that.
Yeah, we've actually seen Blitz banned out against Patoy quite a bit this weekend also, and so that's it. The first two picks for EU are two of the best champs that their top and support could possibly play.
Now, Lee Sin, it could go to Void, but come on, Jackie, come on, why you got to do this? Lee Sin being picked up by St. Vicious, so could go to Void Boy, could go to Saint. They both play a very mean Lee Sin, to say the least. Kog'Maw being looked at now. They want that late game still, so Kog'Maw Nunu would be a hell of a strong late game coming out from Curse NA.
And yeah, Kog'Maw pairs up very well with Nunu, but that's the thing though, you can't have a good late game presence if you don't get there first. And that was the problem, game number one. It may happen again here. And it also is a little bit indicative of maybe actually playing the passive farm game again.
And if they don't go aggressive, like EU, they know how to exploit that. They don't have a Mumu, though. They can't force fights quite as easily. I mean, he's probably the best team fighting jungler in the entire game, maybe besides Malphite. But Malphite not quite as solid in the jungle. But what really scares me is that's a Jax on Curse EU. They have a Jax to dive on that Kog'Maw. We've seen it happen before. Kog'Maw, he doesn't have escapes. He has a slow. He can try and kill Jax. It's very possible. I mean, Jax does good damage, but Kog'Maw will eventually do more. But that's going to be rough for Cop. He's going to have a lot of pain to deal with. He has to fight off that Jax, that champ, who's just going to be wailing on him with a lamppost.
And to put some perspective on the situation too.
Hey, that's a Xin Zhao, man.
That is also. Oh, this is we've seen some Xin Zhao failure actually coming from top lane, but we've already got Jax, so that's going to be a jungle Xin at the very least. But to put things, we could see that Karthus come on in onto Jackie. Oh, that would be a little weird.
I would love to see it. Yeah, do it. I don't care.
Well,
do it.
If you do that, that would mean mid-cog. There's a lot of options. There's a lot. Whoa,
Gragas being locked in.
Gragas being locked in. This is, whoa.
Okay, Gragas top, Karthus mid, protect the Cog. They're going to keep that Kog'Maw alive.
This, I got to say, though, this does seem a little bit risky to me, though.
I mean, Void Boy, he's our modern-day Shusha when it comes to Gragas top.
All right, so
back on CLG Prime when he used to play with him, that was one of his most common, I'd say one of his best top laners. He may not be as aggressive as you would normally like to see a top laner be, but he can passively farm pretty much throughout the entire game if he maxes out those barrels, which he should do. And he still has really good 1v1 presence. That body slam hurts. His auto attack will be immense because of that drunken rage, so it really works well in that top lane. And of course, Jackie farming up mid lane as Karthus. That is hard to compete with.
And also keep in mind that NA's on blue side, so blue buff is actually going to be easily accessible to that Gragas. We actually see it pass to him level 1 just to keep those barrels throwing. I
would not be surprised to see either Jackie or Void Boy get that blue buff early on in the game just to be aggressive, just to be annoying. Already being locked in, though, so Extinct getting some of the characters you want. Maluno going to be in that jungle Zenzat, and we got Angish playing Jax. This is going to be a legit team coming out of Curse EU, and of course Curse NA. they're gonna protect the Columbine. If not, Karthus will kill everybody.
I hope so. I definitely hope that's the case because I think a game 3 here, at the very least for the team kill, would be quite entertaining. So this is it. These are your teams. And we'll see where everyone is switching around to. Because I'm pretty sure St. Fish is not going to be running that Gragas in the jungle.
You never know, man.
You never know, though. I mean, this is it. Like, this is their do or die moment. If they lose here, they're done. At the very least, they can come up with something surprising, but that will not be the case. St. Fish is grabbing that resin. That would have been disastrous.
That would have been awesome.
That would have been
no,
weird.
Not
That
disastrous.
would have been a little
cool.
bit weird. Kind of
Hey man,
awkward.
Fat Man comes out of the jungle, hits you with his belly, you're dead.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just not even that you're getting CC'd and so you're scared.
You're just disgusted.
But all right, some scary matchups though. Ari coming out versus Karthus. That is not an easy lane as Karthus.
No.
Ari's got the mobility, has skill shots that go through minion. You get hit by a charm, you might just die. And that's what makes the lane terrifying. At the same time, Jackie, he knows how to play aggressive against this. He knows how to fight back. And that's the big problem that Karthus has. If you play too passively, sometimes you just get knocked around. And before you can get scary, if you get shut down early, I mean, you'll still be good late game, but you have to reach it. And that's going to be the big thing for Curse NA. They got to get to the late game.
Yep. We're about to load on up into this game. Once again, shout outs to championselect.net. If you want to learn a little bit more about the matchups, be sure to check them out. And remember, we got this voting thing going on too. If you want to be a part of it, if you want to try and win some free stuff, iOS app right there. You can get your vote on in, and this is it. Curse game 2. If EU wins this one, America is going home.
One team left, America.
Yeah.
Curse NA loses this.
And that's there's a pretty. This is the last few American hopes struggling just to stay alive.
All right, I got to do this. Can I hear some noise for Curse EU?
A little bit.
Something.
All right, and now we need to hear some shouts for America. Yeah.
Hell yeah, rooting for NA. I just want to see game 3.
I want to see game 3 myself, and that's strange too because in the bracket stage, if I recall correctly, we only have had one full 3-game series.
That's going to be CLG Prime versus Curse EU, and Curse
Yeah.
EU, they did not hold off in the end.
There's been a lot of stomps here in the bracket stage. It's kind of it's a little awkward, it's a little strange, but we have a lot of very top tier caliber teams in Vegas this weekend.
I mean, who isn't good? Right now, we actually look like there's something going on, trying to get into the game still, so
Yeah.
we're going to go ahead, wait on that.
St. Fish will be in here in just a
Yeah,
second.
I'm looking at the loading screen right now.
Yeah.
he's not connected, so just going to go ahead, hold off till we can get in game.
Yeah, and again, we have to look back at these percentages. 57% the fan vote in favor of Curse EU. We've said it before, they're looking absolutely stellar so far this weekend.
Curse NA, they're losing that vote, but we're on the home turf. We're in Vegas. We're in America, and not having that vote's kind of scary.
It is. It was a little strange, but we have so many people from around the world tuning on into both streams this weekend. So it's going to be a big, huge international battle here. I'm going to like it. And St. Vicious should be in here in just a little bit. And also, I want to put things in perspective, too, because Anguish on Jax is his most played champ top lane, over a 70% win rate with him. He's a very consistent player with Jax. It is a very deadly thing to have, and there's a reason he's been banned out against him for most of the weekend. And same thing with Batoy on that Blitzcrank. Extremely high success rate with those hooks.
If Voyboy makes one mistake, he can lose his lane, possibly lose a game, letting Jax get a chance to snowball. The game has loaded up, though. It looks like we should be going in, though. And Voyboy, I don't think he's going to make that mistake. I think he can hold out on that lane. Actually, never mind. Still lane for a little bit longer.
We get straight on in, just right into a pause in the face. But we should be here. We should be back just a second. Yeah.
The pause coming out just because, well, it turns out one of the games did not start. Just trying to get everything in. It turns out we want to have both teams having all 5 players, which would be nice.
Yeah, it would be nice. It would be ideal, but I think we're actually going to be going underway in just a second. We see all the screens have actually unpaused. So spectator mode, we should be back underway in just a few seconds. And early on, we've actually already see, I think we may be going for a full consumables here on Rux, actually.
Yeah, Rux right now just has potions, just has wards. Something we've been seeing a lot lately. It's just because you get the extra vision. As a support, the mana is nice, but you may not fight that much in lane. Someone like Nunu, you don't have to put on Blood Will, let's say, non-stop.
Right.
But if you can just maintain your mana, just play a bit more, less aggressively, less, I'd say, just wastefully, you can be really effective. Just,
okay, there we go.
Okay,
here she does. He has actually bought the fairy charm.
There we
go.
Though.
Okay, so
and we're in game. There we go.
So yeah, standard build actually coming in once again from both the supports here. And Voyboy getting in position. He knows he's going to be top lane. We got a little point defense here from NA. EU all charging down the mid. Super aggressive, not going to stop, can't stop, won't stop, going straight for the red area.
Were they spotted by Curse NA? They're trying to put the ward down.
They
didn't know about it.
NiGhJacky, he was just like right there in mid. It's like, oh, there's your entire team. Well, just go right ahead. Be my guest.
So NA knows about it. Like, watch, they have Kama back by the turret.
Yep.
The rest of NA just hiding up at the top side. Joe except Jackie, who's in mid lane. They know what's there. They know what can be coming.
Cop's just down there at his turret. He's just like sitting there waiting. He's like, dude, this isn't like 1,000 elos. Just you got to be with your team for these spades, you know?
Oh, Jackie. Oh, Jackie.
This could be bad. You got the ward going down in defense. Angus in pursuit. Maluna, if he can actually get in there, that could be disastrous. But no, lay waste just to get a little bit of vision. They're just allowing EU to come on in. They have a ward both on their blue and over on their wraiths.
Well, EU's got one of the best level 1 teams I've ever seen. They have Blitzcrank and like 3 different awesome AoE CCs. Well, actually, just 2 different awesome AoE Cs. And of course, well, just 1 actually, just Jax. But they have the charm, they have the knockup from Maluna, or the slow, either of which will be awesome. And of course, Kraton does a lot of damage early on with that Mystic Shot. But they get the ward down in the blue buff. They're going to have good vision. We saw this last game. They warded everything of Curse NA, and they did it again.
At the very least, though, NA did get a very good ward over on the brush beyond the blue buff. Because remember, it's Blitzcrank. There's still a possibility he can actually hook over, grab the blue, and take it out of the spawn area for that steal. So that's actually a really good positioning, at least on that.
Looks like Curse EU was going for a swap. They thought they're going to try and meet up against that Kog'Maw lane. That's something that Blitzcrank's really good at. You get a hook on a Cop, you get a hook on a Kog'Maw. He doesn't get out of there. You either fight or die. It's Curse or die, and they want that situation. He's getting grabbed in to an Ezreal. He's going to land those skill shots for free, and that's going to be dangerous.
Angus here meeting up top lane with Voidblade. Just center lane together. Okay, holding hands. Okay, cool. Let's farm for a little bit. Going down bot lane, Kraton here. Cop throwing down that slow, throwing down the ooze. Just a little bit, and they may actually be going for a little aggression here. St. Vicious, with that ward placed earlier, will be spotted by EU. They know he's going for those wraiths. And Lunu, he wants that quick red buff. He wants that quick level 3. He'd used the smite already on the blue, but as soon as he gets that red, he can make a very aggressive gank onto either mid or to top.
If Voidboy, does he have a point in Body Slam yet? All right, he has a point in Dragon Rage. If you can get there before he hits level 2, which he just hit it, so he has that escape. That's the scary part for Voidboy. If he messes up Body Slam, he dies.
Pretty much.
And every time he has it up, he should be safe. It's going to be hard for Jax to chase him down. He may not land the stun. But if besides that, I mean, he goes down very quickly. Maluna, though, just going to do his wraiths, looking for his option, looking for his gank route.
St. Vicious actually doing the slow route. Going to wait for a little while until the smite comes back up before he starts on the red buff. Meanwhile, Maluna is already level 3, already has his double. Just waiting for an opportunity, killing time, grabbing those wraiths. Man, making his way on down. Could be making a visit to mid. And there's a NiGhJacky actually already going. He's going down to help St. Vicious. Just a few Skittles just to make sure that goes down that much quicker.
And that's actually good timing because Maluna was spotted by a ward. They know he's there. They're just going to go ahead and say, well, give him some CS, waste his time. They want Lee Sin to be strong in the gank, St. Vicious to head, possibly top lane. Voidboy's taking a lot of damage up there. Use the Ignite, actually, or Angus uses it onto him, and that's a very low HP Gragas up there. He has potions, but he has sustain too, and Angus actually not going to let up.
He doesn't care. He's just going straight for it. And NiGhJacky actually burned his flash earlier in the mid upon sight of Maluna. Maluna did also flash in response, but hey, that is a summoner down in mid. That is a successful gank.
Well, it's a good trade because Xene can try and land the charm. It's a lot easier now that he doesn't have that flash for an escape. And this is now a hard lane for Jackie until he gets that flash back up because Ahri is so good at killing someone like Karthus. Someone big, slow. That flowy dress, of course, attracts those hearts, makes them a little bit easier to hit.
Yep, that charm also does the orb. It's damage onto Karthus from a range because you really do not want to get close quarters with Karthus. You know what happens. That AoE comes in, the layways come out. It's rough. It's really rough sometimes to just get right into Karthus' face.
Voidboy had a potions up top lane, but now he's got points in barrel roll. Now he can kind of try and stand up to Angus, or at least get away safely. He's going to have a lot of sustain from his passive. Gragas, one of the best sustainers, just got to have that constant reaches. Angus takes a lot in response. Voidboy low on mana, and this is going to be a gank.
The St. Vicious is actually coming from behind, but here comes Luna hiding in the brush. Angus, can you actually get away? He throws down the stun. Voidboy, though, getting engaged. Flash 4, flash Angus, leap strikes to a minion, will get away. But Luna not going to press the issue anymore. Wonderful exchange up there top lane.
Done perfectly. Body slam for the escape. You can only get out of ganks like that if you have a minion coming when you're Jax. So a great defensive play there from both sides. Neither side losing a character, and this is the aggressive play that we kind of wanted to see game 1.
Both of the blue buffs on the junglers are now expired. They have a little bit of time left on their red buffs. Remember, St. Vicious delayed his pickup, so his is going to be up for about a minute longer than Maluna's is right now. But Toy going straight on in, runs right up, looking for that uppercut, but decides, hey, I've managed to keep Cop and Rux away. I'm just looking to buy time for Creatine to farm at this point. Oh, there's the uppercut. Rux followed up by the hook. Exhaust going down onto the Ezreal. Nice body block on the Mystic shot, and Rux will be safe for now.
Flashes down to one more grab. If he doesn't have his ultimate up, could die very, very quickly and not have the fight. Fortunately, Rux out of mana in that bot lane. The Fairy Charm not giving him enough sustain. And with that, well, he didn't have the blow ball, didn't have the snowball, could not fight back.
So we're looking 6 minutes on in, and there's...
Oh, Voyboy. He's got a pink board there.
Oh, man.
He's looking at it. He's looking at it.
He's waiting for it.
One more auto attack.
There we go.
NA getting the first ward, getting clearly the major advantage now. And boy, that's a really smart
I am
ward there.
never going to get tired of that cheer. I will never get tired of that. I don't care if it's 5 years from now, I will still love that.
Still, though, I mean, Voyboy, he has a relatively small CS lead. Anguish, though, he's at the turret, and Voyboy's scared because Jax can try and chase him down. Flashers are down on both of them, but if Voyboy does try to leap strike away, does walk up to that wave to CS, he's going to be in a dangerous spot. Anguish can chase him down with the leap and just will kill him at this point, especially once he hits level 6.
And remember, to avoid Gragas, he does have a few mana issues early on, but he's looking to mitigate some of that. He already has that first Doran's Ring, drinking the mana potion right now. Hopefully, he'll be passed off the second blue. May could still go to Jack, though. He's not in the best situation here.
Well, I think if he gets a kill up top, St. Vicious waiting up there.
He
Anguish
could.
don't walk in that bush because there's some danger in there.
This is a little bit dangerous. And he knows something's up.
He
knows he's in the brush. Okay, he thinks it's safe. Still waiting. Face check the push. Gonna meet with the slow. Looking for the counter strike. Karthus, looking to front with more damage. Leap strikes to his own minion. Will still be safe.
He just walks on out of there.
2 ults. He used 2 ults. He used both the barrel and the Karthus ult, and it still was not enough damage to take out the Jax.
And Anguish, who was smart, the second he spotted the Karthus ult, the second he realized he was in terrible, terrible danger, used his ultimate. This gives a chance for Curse you to go ahead, swing by Dragon, pick that up because they know Karthus ult is down. St. Vicious up in the top lane, not really going to do anything as Dragon does reset very briefly, but they should be able to secure this.
Yeah, so first Dragon going to be going over to EU. The gold lead is pretty decent at this point. It's a hair over 1,000, which is the equivalent value of that Dragon. Blue buff going to be passing over to Jackie. He's going to have an easier time farming, and that ult should be up just a little while sooner. Voyboy, though, after all that aggression top lane, remember his ult is actually still down about halfway back. He's relatively low on mana. Those barrels are not cheap.
Yeah, he only has about 1 barrel left in him. Gonna use that Drunken Rage, have a bit more mana. Has about 1 barrel or 1 body slam, 1 or 2 body slams. That's scary because if Anguish gets aggressive, he is scared of St. Vicious showing up somewhere, but if he is spotted by a ward, there's gonna be Anguish possibly going for a kill onto Voyboy.
Malunu doubling on back, grabbing his red buff. He passed the blue over to Ari earlier. Anguish is actually pretty low on mana himself. He's also taking a little bit of harass. He will do the safe thing. He will back. He actually bought a Doran shield earlier to have a little bit extra health regen. But look at this. Extinct actually roaming up onto top lane is going to be spotted by that pink ward that we saw Voyboy place down earlier. And his barrel is actually just to come back up, but he has no mana to use it.
Well, luckily, Extinct, a bit nervous. They weren't too sure where St. Vicious was. That could have been a counter gank possibility. Just going to go ahead and let Voyboy go back to base. Actually now, Luna holding that top lane. I think they want to make sure Anguish gets his CS, stays at least relevant, make sure he gets a Triforce as quickly as he can, just because he's going to be a big factor. He's going to be the guy who dives onto Kog'Maw, into everybody on Curse NA, and tries to murder him before he can do anything. Sin can do it too, but Anguish is going to be in the fray, and he needs to be bulky, he needs to be having a high DPS. Yeah,
the early starts of Anguish wanting to be the guy, and we will see if he can actually make it through and get those kills later on. You see St. Vicious, he did back a little bit. He's actually almost there. He's about 150 gold off from getting that Wriggles. And Malunu actually delaying his Wriggles just a little bit. He has a little bit more gold going for the GP10, going for that Philo Stone, so he has a little bit more income on the way as opposed to Saint. Unless Saint manages to get a quick kill or 2, or at the very least an assist, then he should actually skyrocket a little bit further out. Rock's gonna get grabbed, going through that ward in the try. Exhaust once again onto the Ezreal, wants to close the gap. There's the ship, but Cobb looking to 1v1. Here comes St. Vicious looking to help Flash, cannot reach with the Q. Flash away, here's Baluna to help save the day, just in case. No kill down bot.
0-0 at the 10-minute mark, and the teams are trying to kill each other. They're
Right.
trying to go aggressive. They just can't secure those flashes over the wall a bit too strong.
Yep.
Rux does have his exhaust down, still has his flash up, and that bot lane's actually in a bad spot now. If St. Vicious does roam down there, Patoy going to be moving quickly, but not going to have that same escape potential that someone like Ezreal with Arcane Shift does,
Yep.
and will be exposed to ganks.
And also with following that last exchange, the wave has actually pushed up into EU's favor. There's Patoy looking for the grab on Cop, does not manage to get it. Can you land anything more? The Q did not land from Lisa onto Patoy. Thankfully enough, Ludo's still babysitting here down bot because he knows he could be needed very quickly. He does have his ult up and everything. Anguish thrown backwards by the Gragas Barrel. Voyboy taking quite a bit of damage. Here comes the Karthus ult. Should be enough to finish the job. First blood to Jackie. Meanwhile, bot lane, Rux very low. Ezreal not getting anything. Cop, can he reach Creatine? No, he cannot.
Just one kill being secured top lane, perfect. What they need to really start this snowball, and it's on Anguish. Anguish has to die. He cannot get that free farm. Shutting him down early, even if it's using the ultimate from Karthus, that matters so much. And that fight bottom was close, but looking at it, Cobb just didn't take damage.
Yeah.
St. Vicious low on HP. They also had Rux running out low on HP. They just could not sustain that fight. Cobb could have picked up 3 kills, but luckily Curseyu had the disengage and did get out of there.
Yeah, if the Ezreal ult was just a few more centimeters over to the left, that could have potentially been a double. But unfortunately, that was not the case. Creatine, he has to go back. One more ulti shot from Cop, actually just on its own, would have been enough to kill him. But he will be safe. He will heal up. He's got the Phage. He's working for the Zeal, looking for that Trinity build. And St. Vicious here, helping out Jackie with some of that farm.
Now, the good news for Curse NA is they got at least a little free farm for Kappa.
Right.
He's behind on CS. He's a good 23 CS behind. He is that late game presence. He does outscale Ezreal, but that takes a while to really kick in. And if Ezreal gets a fairly early Triforce, goes aggressive ASAP, that can be doom for Curse NA. They didn't make sure that Cop gets a CS2. Like, they have a great late game with Karthus, with Kog'Maw at the same time. They have to make sure that they don't just die mid-game to that Ezreal getting too much farm.
Yeah, but there's also a very similar disparity there in the top lane. You see Voyboy's actually doing a better job farming in Anguish. Those are barrels, that is AoE clear, and you also have the assist that he got earlier. So it's a little bit more gold. It's nothing huge, but this early on in the game, it still does make a difference.
I've been watching Anguish try and CS against Voyboy just because Voyboy, the barrel will actually reduce his attack speed. People don't forget about it, so when he does try and go up the last hit, he just swings that axe really, really slowly.
And this is why he went the Sheen first. Sometimes you'll see a lot of top laners that naturally build in Triforce go for that Phage, but he knows he's going to get a very limited number of attacks, might as well get the big hits in first before you have to run away.
Oh, St. Vicious going to the bot lane, looking for a gank. Patoy doesn't have his flash quite up yet.
There's a snowball keeping the Blitz behind, does not juke out of the way of the Lee Sin Q. There is the Ooze to keep him behind, kick backwards, Patoy, the mana shield is not enough. Ezreal cannot kill Rux.
6 HP, gets out of there!
Somehow manages to get away with 6 HP.
Nice kill, they're getting that farm at a cop. He has a kill now.
Extinct with burst down on a Jackie over by their blue buff, thrown down the ult. The AoE that will be enough. Voyboy wants to clear the gap. Can he throw the barrel? Will be enough. Will he pin him?
He's got his flash up.
He's got his flash up. There's the charm. Will Voyboy actually die before he gets the barrel? But here comes the Karthus ult. Try and keep extinct away. The orb will not touch.
And Jackie uses ultimate, thought they could secure the kill, but a bit of miscommunication there. But you know what? No one dies on Curse NA. They're getting those kills, trying to get back in the swing of things. Still a bit behind just because of farm and that early dragon that came out of Curseyu, but they're making the plays happen. This is the aggression we love to see.
Oh, yeah.
Because you know what? When St. Vicious is going and getting kills, feeling smug, you know he's going to be playing better, and you know he can make a lot happen with that.
And look at the kills. It's 2-0. The gold's still very. Curseyu actually still has a little bit slightly under a K lead.
Yeah, about 600. They have the farm advantage, and of course, a dragon is worth about 2 kills.
Right.
Kog'Maw, not one of the strongest laners, and Ezreal, one of the strongest ADs when it comes to specifically laning. So it makes sense that they'd be a bit behind there. And of course, Voyboy up top lane, it's more of a brawl than necessarily a farm fest.
St. Vicious going in from behind on the dragon. There's a little bit of help from Jackie. If there's expecting that there was a ward somewhere in the river, unfortunately there is not.
This is sneaky.
But it's pretty sneaky, and you have the Wriggles.
And there's the gold lead.
Very sneaky.
Sneaky dragon coming in.
Very sneaky coming in from NA. Very well played.
And actually, look at the wards Curseyu has on the map. They have both river entrances warded. Guess what? They didn't go through the river.
Exactly. How about that?
The Luno pink ward.
That sucks.
Sees nothing.
It was like, how did they do that?
Lane,
They must be
Voyboy
magic.
going aggressive.
Anguish thrown down the Counter-Strike. Voyboy will not be engaging on that. Flash is being used just to escape.
And Curse.eu, I mean, their laning is kind of falling apart right now. Voyboy up top, really playing aggressively. Cop, he's caught up at least in terms of overall gold. Still a bit behind in CS though, but you know, he's getting relevant, and Kog'Maw's just going to get stronger and stronger and stronger as the game goes on. And Safe Vicious, he's been doing a good job camping that bot lane, getting kills, or at least forcing a retreat onto Curse.eu, which lets Cop get that free farm, lets him get to that late game. And Jackie, we haven't really talked about him, but he's been sitting mid, pressing Q, getting farm, and well, that's all he needs to do.
Yeah, that's all you really do is Karth.
Every now and then, press start, get those kills.
You just get big. You just get big and then sit in the middle of team fights, and that's all you really need to do. And yeah, the occasional R will sometimes help.
He did help with the dragon. But oh, Extinct with a nice little steal onto a blue Wraith. And it's a little bit more farm. And this is what it's coming down to. Last game was all about the farming and just playing it passively, trying to outplay in lane. This is just about aggression. And still focusing on farming, but pressuring the other guy into missing a lot more.
Yep. So we're looking at a 16-minute mark. The gold still very even. Dragon for dragon. Sneaking up from Curse NA. There's quite a bit of farm too over on EU side. And it's also still a big battle of the lanes. Cop, he will be in a lot better situation. Well, actually, he ended up going for the BF sword, so it's going to be a lot of damage. It's a lot. Sometimes on AD carries like Kog'Maw and Vayne, you'll go for that Zeal first, but he wants that damage.
He just wants to fight. He just wants to press Bioarcane Barrage, start auto-attacking, and he wants to be stronger than Created. Created does have Phage, does have Zeal, but can he really stand up to Cop if it goes into a sustained fight? Maybe not at this point, just because of that BF sword.
Sneaky Maluno. Waiting here in the top. Angus trying to bait Voyboy into coming out a little bit from beyond tower, but the wave is actually pushing up pretty far. We may see that there's the barrel pushing him back. Maluno now makes his presence known. Voyboy below half. They may actually be able to sneak out this tower.
Maybe. Created taking a lot of damage bot lane, actually.
Looking to get away, exhaust once again onto Ezreal. Can they close the gap? Jackie, there is the ult. Will it be enough? No, the heal coming on in. You still have that, but Batoy still in a lot of trouble. Saint Vicious taking some turret damage, and the ultimate from Rux sealing the deal. He's in the tri-brush. Can he actually kill him? The red buff, it is not enough. Creatin grabbing a red buff after that kill.
Nice kill there, actually. Batoy accidentally grabbing in Saint Vicious. Saint Vicious just not having the DPS. Still a 1-for-1.
Yes.
And now a red buff from Creative, but they both have no HP. Ezreal and Kog'Maw super low. Both have to retreat and play passively. Oof. So a nice kill there, but you know, going 1-for-1 is still okay. They have a better late game on Curse 8 just because of Karthus, just because of Cog. They can wait this out.
Maluno going back up into the top lane will be spotted by the ward, but Voyboy's way too far out. Will he actually get out in time? But you see Jax, he may be doing that recall bait. No, he will not. He'll actually be going back to shop. Never mind.
Creatin hasn't actually gone back to shop, so he has no HP. You got a little bit back from health potions, but the lifesteal actually Cop taking him low, just bursting him down bot lane.
Should have backed.
This auto attack, living artillery, he's dead.
That's it.
Got greedy, and you know what? Cop punished it. Good job coming out from Curse NA. Now they have a gold lead. Now they're about 700 up. Yep. Still a very close game. Could go either way, but they have the kills. They're looking dominant on the map. The lanes are trying to respond to Curse NA's aggression rather than Curse.eu's, and that's kind of scary because they're not really accomplishing much in their defenses.
And the best part about that kill for Cop too is that the red buff has now been passed on back over to the AD.
Good buff transfer coming out from Saint Vicious.
Very good.
Yeah, red buff. Hell yeah, red buff. Come on.
It was it took a while, but yeah, you got the transfer, you got the pass along. It's fine. He'll be here. There is the charm coming in. Not going to be getting too much damage on Saint Vicious. He will be still relatively healthy, but look at that mid tier 1. That thing is about to just topple over.
And that's actually punished from Extinct. Every time Jackie goes to farm those wraiths, damaging that turret quite a bit. If you look at Extinct's mid turret, it's taken no damage.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, Karthus, you want to farm up as much as possible, but he is losing that push ward bit by bit. But still, it's a 19-minute mark. He still has his turret up. He's done what he needs to do, really.
Right, and even then, we're hitting the 20-minute mark. We're starting to hit into mid game, and the gold is ridiculously even at this point.
Yeah, 500 gold difference. That's not much.
Nothing.
It's the feel of the game that you have to go off at this point. It's still incredibly balanced. One bad play from either side, one great play from either side. Game can completely change. And that is exactly what happened in game number 1, and we saw just the one fight. EU won it and snowballed from there. Top lane, Voyboy actually taking quite a bit of damage from Angus. The leap strike coming on in. Ignite also down on Gragas. He will charge out beyond tower. He needs to recall. He needs to heal up. That's the scary thing Angus has. Even though Voyboy, he's had the bullying going on this entire game, eventually Jack just kind of does that. He scales so well. Most top laners cannot beat him in the 1v1. And Gragas, he's not going to build too tanky, so doesn't have a lot of armor. It has a little bit of magic resist from that of things, but that's not going to really keep you alive versus Jack. Now the push is going on. It's only going to be Voyboy up there, St. Vicious in the area, but that turret should be going down first.
And those smacks, every single one of those procs on that turret is that much more satisfying. It may actually go down. Will English actually stick it out here?
Voyboy
Yes, he will. Voyboy, can he get there? A little bit more damage. No, the turret does go down. Leap Strike wants to get out of there, throwing down the counter strike, looking for the stun, not going to grab it. Voyboy looking for the slow, but no, flash out of the way from English. He will be fine. Maybe not. There's that slow, but he's actually getting pretty close to tower. He's taking one shot from the barrel. Leap Strike out of the way of the ulti. Very well timed. Voyboy flashing. He wants this kill. Here comes the Karthus ult. Wait for it. Let Jackie have it.
Giving that goal to Jackie. Giving that
Extinct
goal
though.
to that all-important
Extinct,
Karthus.
he wants some revenge, but decides, you know what, it's not worth it because they
Dragon,
know
you can't
right now
catch Gragas.
they are grabbing the dragon right now. Pink Ward, Ruck's going to clear that one out. But look over on the side, Kraton taking quite a bit of damage from Cop. He cannot get to safety, cannot get to the river. Lunu out in front, exhausted. There is the ult from Nunu. Will be interrupted. Kill onto Cop. There is the passive. Wait for damage and Rux. Can he get away? No, not this time. Double kill for Ari. Extinct still in pursuit. Charm onto Knight. Jackie will the damage be enough? No, flash over the wall. Extinct does not have his flash up. Cannot chase.
Jackie getting away there just by the end of his dress, and unfortunately for Cursenate, they grouped up. Maluno knocked them all back, ended the new ultimate. Nice try there, Batoy.
Voyboy gonna try.
Close.
No, not in time.
Goes
Did
for the steal.
Did the ultimate actually just crash into the forest?
I think he was trying to kill anybody next to the wall. I'm not sure what he was going for there, but it just did not work out. And
It's short enough cooldown.
it was, yeah, short at this point. Has the Essenes, has the CDR, but Curse, they just grouped up too much. Let Maluno do what he needed to do as he tanked everybody. The new ultimate didn't do much. The Ezreal ultimate coming out from Kraton hit everybody, and the team fight was just there for Curse EU. Now they're ahead once again, 3K gold. We saw this last time. They won a team fight at Dragon, actually.
Yep.
And, well, can they control the game against Cursenite? They've been aggressive. They have more kills. They can definitely come back from this.
They could. They're definitely in a better situation than they were game number one, but there's still a lot more coordination that needs to be done in order to edge out these team fights. We've given up the gold lead, and Curse EU, they're definitely going to buy something nice with that. You have 2 of the 3 parts of the Trinity now finished for Angish. You look over at Ari, almost finishing that Abyssal. Already has the Athenes, and Maluno, he's starting to tank up, has that Ruby Crystal. He's going to have a phase of his own pretty soon.
What's going to be scary is when Angish does finish his Triforce. That's going to be a big buy right there. And, you know, when he does have it, he can start getting kills. He's 0-2-0 right now, but he's been aggressive. He's really been bullying Voyboy a lot recently top lane.
There's St. Vicious with the shield over to the ward. Patoy getting caught out. Does grab Rux, but it is for naught. Nice quick kill, and those little kills need to keep happening. If NA can keep doing that, they'll be right back in this.
And now they can push this bot turret. Now they can make sure Creation doesn't get free farm if they're feeling confident. They do spot Extinct headed bot lane with a ward, so they know they couldn't push, but now they see him back mid lane. Now they can go aggressive. Now is their time to really take turrets and be on the offense.
Tier 1 is down. Extinct wants the kill, thrown down the ult, wants a huge burst on Night Jackie. Not going to be grabbing the charm, but decides to go on backwards, more than content with farming. And Melina's actually going to be building into the Aegis, so that's going to be a lot of defense, a lot of help for the team.
Could be super tanky. That's how you build a Zenzo. Actually, Maluno in the bot lane though, so Rux, can you escape? This takes a lot of burst.
1, 2, 3. Doesn't even need the 3, doesn't even need the pop-up. Kraton with all that damage in the slow, got to be able to get that kill onto Rux.
Rux luckily had a Putt in Oracle, so I thought he did for a second, like, that's going to be a big loss.
Malunu has though. Maluno's got an Oracle, so everyone gets your Thundersticks ready, so those are going to be coming pretty shortly.
But, I mean, Rux dying, it's kind of a bad situation because now Kog'Maw can't really defend himself. It's the same as Patoy dying, but Curse EU, they're going for the aggressive play. They're being more on the offense than Curse and really punishing that death.
Malunu also out in front, being brave, allowing some time for Kraton to get some free shots in the tower. Is wait for the next wave. They should be able to get some more damage onto it. But it looks like Malunu going to be going on over to the side. Could be going over to the Tribush, could be grabbing an ambush down here in bot. There's St. Vicious, he's committing to this fight, but there's Malunu, he's still in the neighborhood. Batoy keeping Cop at bay. St. Vicious waiting in the brush, will get the kill. On to Batoy. Malunu, do not lose that Oracle. That'd be disastrous. Pushes 9, Jackie back. Kraton gets the kill onto the cards, but here comes Extinct from the side. St. Vicious cannot escape that one. That is a double for the Ezreal. Cop does not live here today. Extinct manages to finish that one. That is a 3-for-3 even trade, but that was an Oracle's lost.
3-for-3, I'd say definitely in favor of Curse and A.
Yes.
They got kills onto Cop, which really matters.
Oh,
he's now
man.
4-3. Boy, he's looking for it. He's looking for it.
He knows he's been spotted. He knows he cannot pursue any further.
Once the orb hit, he's like, I gotta back off. He knows I'm here. Can't go too aggressively, but they took off in Oracles. They got kills onto Cop.
Right.
They can be a little bit behind as long as the gold goes to Karthus and to Kog'Maw. That's gonna be what really matters the most.
Yeah, and Karthus, he's looking pretty beefy right now. just buying the Zonias. So when he's in the middle of that fight, he will be safe. How much gold actually does he have over the Ahri? Does he actually have it? Actually, no, Ahri's actually ahead in gold. But look at Karthus, though. He's actually itemizing pretty damn well. It's
He's
only a
looking
K
to
swing.
survive. He's not going for the death cap. He wants to make sure that
Right.
they waste as much time getting him killed first before they go for Cop. Or if they go for Jackie, you know, a couple more seconds of Defile being channeled, that's going to be a lot more damage coming out. That could win a team fight.
And he knows he's the front line. He knows that EU needs to get past him first if they want to get to that gooey Kog'Maw center.
That's what they have to do. Disgusting and chewy as it is. Toy getting that ward kill, though.
He's going to get another here, too.
One,
two,
oh,
three.
Yeah, goes Toy.
And yet they're going to get
25G.
another one. There's pieces of candy everywhere. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, piece of candy.
There you go. Now, no vision for Curse NA. They're scared down there. They have nothing on the bottom side of the map. Just creeps in the mid lane. They're
Yeah.
closest thing to vision. And now this push is going to be terrifying because if Extinct roams, he can come out of nowhere, really use his ult for surprise, and get some good catches.
And once again, Maluno has not been spotted with that ward clear over in the try. He can actually sneak on in. And if St. Vicious gets unctuous again, he can actually join the fight. Angus taking a lot of damage from Voidboy here in the top lane. But meanwhile, in bot, there's the engaged Rux. Can you get in position for that ultimate? A lot of damage from Cop, relatively safe, but there's the pushback from Maluno. Kick backwards onto Sin. The Karthus ult taking down the Jax. St. Vicious, how long can he live? Not very extinct here. Now with tons of damage and the charm, Maluno taking care of Cop, no problem. Bug is gone.
Can you get the
But
kill
can
with
he
the passive?
escape? Extinct, can he get away?
No!
Flash is not going to be enough.
Great kills coming out from Curse NA. They're catching up in terms of gold bit by bit. One kill at a time. They're making the plays. It's a 4-for-2 exchange right there. They can push this top of our bot turret, as Angish did die in a fight towards the top part of the map. And this is looking strong for NA. Now they're playing aggressive. Cop, he's 7-3-3. He's looking so strong right now. 200 CS. He's buying big items, has the Infinity Edge, has a Phantom Dancer, and now he's going to be a big threat. Same with Jackie. Got the Zonias. Everybody's going to be strong on Curse NA. And that's scary because they don't have a late game team on Curse EU. They have a good presence coming out from Ahri, a good presence from Jax, but those are assassins more than those big AoE team fight killers.
And also the gold up on the top bar, that is a little bit misleading because remember that at this point, Curse EU has actually lost 2 oracles.
They've lost 2 oracles, yeah.
That is huge. That's essentially losing a dragon.
That's the 800 gold difference right there. They're even on gold. This is a balanced game. And a few wards did die for Curse NA, but that first oracle's coming out from Luno didn't really take out all that much.
Yeah, it really didn't. It's quite unfortunate too, but he's still getting some good, decent ward coverage down. Pink wards are also the best thing you can do when you realize, hey, if I get this oracles, I know I'm not going to live. So at the very least, it's a nice substitute. Will not be getting the steal. Cop looking for the artillery shots over the wall. Cannot get the steal. Maluno grabbing that one.
Still though, it's only 1,000 gold. At this point, that's not a big difference. And top turret does go down in favor of Curse. That's going to matter a lot more just because of the map control you get from that turret going down. That's that ultimate going down bot lane. Now a push coming out from Curse U towards that bot turret. Hasn't gone down. They've been pressuring it for quite a while, but they can't get the team fight they want.
Yep, so at the very least, you got the carries looking to back Ezreal, buying himself something nice. He's got the Trinity, and he has the IE. Look at Ahri beefing up that damage. You got the Athenes, and the Abyssal, and the needlessly large Rod. Tons of damage coming in from the EU carries. But look, Rux with the Oracles now, looking to clear out some coverage in Baron Pit. There is nothing, so they know it's safe to take if given the opportunity.
This is the fight that Curse NA wants. Even if they fight in the Baron Pit, even if they've tanked it for a bit, it's a Karthus, so Cop is in the bot lane. They're going to try and stink this. If he doesn't respond in about 20 seconds, they're going to have it.
They're doing it. They're trying the Baron. They're trying their luck. We are in Vegas. You might as well St. Vicious with the Wriggles. You got Jackie with the AoE. Jackie is very low on mana, though. They have to get here soon. Rux actually throwing down the ult just to pile on a little bit more. Maluno with the ward in the pit. They know they're doing it. This could be a very bad situation. Angish over on the side, but no. Curse NA secures the Baron sneak, but they have to get away. Jackie very low on mana. There's the barrel to keep the Ahri away. I think they, at the very least, will only have one casualty. St. Vicious, I don't think he's getting away off this one. There's the orb, just the kiss right on the end, gets that kill.
You know, I'll trade St. Vicious for Baron any day. Cop, though, pushing down that bot turret. He can 1v1 Kraken. Kraken can't fight this. He flashes forward.
Flashes in.
Going aggressive.
Shifting away. Can he get out of that? One more. No, he's got the Karthus ult. He can't escape that one. But EU knows that they have a very limited time to make a push, to make a play before St. Vicious comes back up. At the very least, they can get that top tier 2, but Cop still in
and
bot.
he's going to delay.
He's going to Rambo on in. He wants that tier 3.
They're going to waste their time, so Cop pushes bot turrets.
Cop, he just needs to clear the wave. He's on here on his own. There is no defense coming from you. He should be able to take out that tower, no problem. Meanwhile, here in top lane, Maluno keeping everyone back at the top. The bot tier 3 has gone down. Cop now pressing in on the inhib. The inhib will now fall. Creighton still has 10 seconds before he comes back into this game. Meanwhile, you have both teams still delaying each other here in the top lane. NA is playing this so well right now.
EU, they're trying to fight, they're trying to do something, they're stuck there, they can't retreat because a poke from Void are going to be a bit too strong at that. They lose the inhibitor, Creighton revives, and guess what? What's he going to do? The inhibitor is that he could not 1v1 Cop in the first place, and now they have a Baron buff on NA. They have an inhibitor down, they can push across the map, they can really take control. They have control of this game. They're dominant, it's their game to really make the plays in now.
Baron buff will still be up for 2.5 minutes. There's still objectives to grab. They still have yet to actually get the tier 1 in mid. They might want to go ahead and pick that one up.
They can push down mid at this point.
They can do whatever the hell they want right now.
They got to make sure Anguish and Extinct don't get damage onto Cop.
Yes.
And that they can still burst it down very quickly. Cop incredibly high in damage, not really any survivability. Actually just bought a G8. Never mind, Cop can die. Will pop back up. And the assassination, it's not going to be enough. They need to try and get a pick off before a fight starts.
Yeah, that GA means huge right now for NA. That is the #1 item you can get when you know that you're in a dominant position, when you know you're ahead, and is one of the key parts here of NA's game plan. You have Karthus out in front. He's already going to be sticking around for a little while. He doesn't necessarily need a GA. You just need to make sure that is their plan B, just in case they get to the back line, kill a little bit of time, wait for Cop to revive, and come on back.
They want Karthus to die in a team fight because it means that Cop isn't being focused. The St. Vicious, Boy, in the end, it's all about Cop. Rux, he doesn't care if he dies, as long as he blood boils Cop before he does it. And this is a game. NA, they've got the late game. They've reached the late game. 3,000 gold lead, but it means so much more just because of their champions and their item highs.
Wall of Pain catching 3 members of EU slowed. Those barrels are still a huge threat to deal with. Still a minute on that Baron buff. They can still push on this, waiting for the minion support. They don't necessarily want anyone to be tanking this right yet. But also remember, there are still super minions now pushing down into the bottom. EU cannot defend this forever.
There are blitzcrank hooks. There are things that can really punish Curse if they go too aggressive. This turret does go down though, and that's all they need to do. They wait for a creep wave. They obliterate turrets just because Cop has the auto attack damage, and they have the stats to murder these turrets and get
Rux, go back. We need the crowd cheers. There we go. Okay, now we got it.
There we go. Looking good. And that same story for EU now that NA used to have. They don't have wards across the map. They might have one towards that river, but they don't know where NA is going. They can't go to their jungle. Huge threats all around.
The pressure is too much, and they know they cannot go to their own jungle right now because the CC is a bit too much, the damage is a bit too much. Look at Cop melting that turret, and look at the base. The super minions are already there right up to the Nexus. Top tier 2 falls. The push continues here from NA. Baron buff seconds from going away.
I mean, it's curse or die at this point.
It is.
They're going to take this to a game 2. They're going to try as hard as they can. NA, they're not letting this wait out. They want to push. They want to be aggressive. Here comes the fight.
There's the last stand. He throws down the ultimate, keeps Rux pinned. There's the hook coming on in, but Toy taking way too much damage. There is the Hourglass coming from Jackie. Maluno out in front. He is spotted. The orb coming out the moment that Baron buff went down. That was EU's time to go in. There is the ult. Not going to be killing Toy. He will hold on to that Oracles, but Anguish does barely get away with Leap Strike over onto Creighton Extinct. Throwing orbs behind, looking for more damage onto Rux at the very least. Try and get that one. Cop is very low, but remember, he does have that Guardian Angel. And NA, they're still deciding to push all of EU. The 4 remaining members have come back. They have healed. Hook on the Void by trying to get away. St. Vicious, a hair, a pixel away from death. The Mystic Shot from Creighton does get the kill. And right now, NA is in a full retreat. They have no Baron buff anymore. And Cop, he's struggling just to get away. He knows that if he dies, he will be surrounded when he gets that revive.
And Creighton actually had to back off because the Living Artillery was going to kill him. Had a lifesteal off of Creeps. They're still chasing though.
Can Patoy go through the jungle and cut off Cop? No, he will not. He decides to back off.
If he did, Cop had been able to 1v1 him. He has lifesteal. He has a fight potential. They take out that top inhibitor turret. It was actually a sloppy fight, and Jackie didn't have to file when he went into the Zonia's ring, so a lot of damage ended up being missed because of that, but still, it was a good fight. They got what they needed. They got the objectives, and the longer this game goes on, the better it is for Curse NA.
Baron will be respawning in about a minute 30, minute 40. So that will be the next logical fight at the very least. So Curse EU, they're taking their opportunity, clearing out the waves, making sure they're pushing. Bot Inhibitor should be coming back in a little bit too, so at the very least try and get that pushed at least closest to the river as you possibly can. And right now, Jackie and Voyboy wandering on down. They know they can press into the jungle. They know they have great map advantage at this point, even though they no longer have the buff.
Now, the fight that Curse EU needs to get out, they need to get Jackie out of the fight. They can do that by killing him quickly and backing off, maybe using Luna in his ultimate to make sure he dies in a bad spot. Dragon being taken for Curse NA, though, an extra 1,000 gold. It's not the biggest number, but this is adding up. This gold lead, it's only 4,400, which at the 35-minute mark, not that much. But with Kog'Maw scaling how he is, EU, they've got about 5 to 10 minutes before they just might not be able to fight it if it's a 5v5.
Yeah, we're getting very close to the late game portion. There's a lot of huge damage items on both teams. There you go. You still have that Oracle's, Rux still has it, and he's looking for even more snacks there. And there's actually still one ward in the pit that needs to be taken care of. And you see, this is how little control EU has over their own jungle. Extinct has to poke in with that charm, with the orb, just to make sure the bushes are clear.
This is going to be EU's fight. If they get a hook over the wall, this
could
be huge.
Patoy could be a game changer here. He's going to be taking out that ward. If he can get a godlike hook onto any member of NA over the forest wall, isolate them, take it out, make this into a 4v5, that would be ideal. They may actually be able to swing this back around.
But still, they have to make sure Cop gets dealt with. They have to either AoE him out. They have to do something to kill him. And it's going to be rough. He has a GA. If he does not get focused for even 2 or 3 seconds, that could just end the game right there.
Baron is back up. He has respawned, but there's still a really decent wave pushing down bot. So EU has to make a decision. They can either fight over at the Baron or they can defend down bot. There's still 2 super minions who can push in and take that inhibitor right quick. You got Extinct isolated off onto the side. Angus jumping straight on into the middle of the Cardinals, but he does have the Zonius. He will be safe. Voyboy taking care of that one. Malunu out in front, looking to dissuade 3 members of NA. There's the double kill down onto the Ahri, and that is the ace for NA.
That is the ace for NA. That is the game. NA going to take this, go to the best of 3. 40 seconds till anybody on EU can respond. Not going to be enough time if they just go for the Nexus turrets. I mean, the inhibs already half HP. Those 2 super minions we mentioned before going to end the game. And NA looking so strong. You can't kill Jackie like that. Press Zonias, tanks all the damage, and just he dies. All right, that's fine. But he gets the kills, and they're gonna win the game.
It was a valiant effort from Angus and Malunu, just being brave, diving right out into the middle of the team. But Curse NA, the sibling rivalry will continue for at least one more game. It's the series now 1-1. The next game is the decider. Who will be the more dominant Curse? I don't know.
And this was a great game. Curse NA showing their strength. I mean, game 1, that was Curse EU really being in control for most of the game. This game was Curse NA. They fell behind for a bit, but they had their strategy. They had their plan. They knew what to wait out for. And then they just, when they had everything set up, they just kind of won.
The concern was, hey, they had a late game team. Will they get to the late game? And this time, the answer was yes.
How did they do it? They played aggressively. They were forcing fights. They were being in Curse EU's face, and it really worked out well for them.
So we're going to find out in just a little bit which Curse stays, which Curse goes. We'll be back in just a little bit. Game number 3, Curse EU and Curse NA coming right up. This is IPL 5.